Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahawah Hakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have taught us this word and teach us this word today. And I want to give a salutation to the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Yatazakbar with the GMS Nebraska camp. This is GMS Endeavor. And in this lesson, what I want to get into is basically having us looking at things with a spiritual eye, not being carnal, basically, because when it comes to this truth, it takes having a spiritual mind. A lot of the things that we believe in this truth, a lot of the things that we understand, takes a spiritual mind. And people in the world wouldn't be able to receive a lot of these things because, as the scriptures say, in Matthew chapter 13, verse 11, it says, it has been given to you to understand the mysteries, but, it hasn't been given to them. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has given some, the ability to be spiritually discerned, but for those who are on the outside, they haven't been given that. And let's read Jude chapter 1, verse 18. It says, how that they told you there should be mockers in the last time, who walk after their own ungodly lusts. These be they who separate themselves, sensual, having not the spirit. So you have people that come against the truth, that come against the things that we preach, that think it's ridiculous because what? They're sensual. It says that they have not the spirit. And when you get into that word sensual, it is Strong's G5591, which is the definition of or belonging to breath, having the nature and characteristics of the breath, the principle of animal life, which men have in common with the brutes. It says governed by breath, the sensuous nature with the subjection to appetite and passion. Let's see what the root says. Essentially the same thing, but basically, it's basically saying the things that we experience on the surface, our senses, what we can see physically, what we can hear physically, what we can touch physically. When you get the etymology of it, let's get into that. Sensual, which is carnal, concerning the body, and distinction from the spirit or intellect. Right here, endowed with feeling. So it's basically the things that we can sense physically with our body. What's right there on the surface, and a lot of people, that's all that they look at. But to understand this truth, it takes a level of it takes tapping into the spirit, because when you get 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 14, what does it say? But the natural man receiveth not the things of the spirit of the Most High. And when you get into that word natural, it's the same Greek word that we went into for sensual. The when you're being natural, you're being, you're just looking with your senses. But these scriptures and the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that's what it takes. It takes the Holy Spirit to be on you. It allows you to understand these scriptures on another level. It allows you to experience on another level. Having the Spirit allows us to understand that a person may not look like an Israelite, but they are an Israelite. Why? Because of their spirit. It says that the Spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. It takes a spiritual mind to believe in reincarnation. And I will say that you have Jake that's not in the truth, but they have a level of spiritual sight. Just like, you have, well, I say the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom, but Gad, the different native tribes are the first ones that come to mind, to where, they believe in spirits. They believe in spirits around us. Really all Israelites, they believe in a higher power. Not all, because you got some that's bugged out in that atheism today, but most of the nation of Israel, even those who are outside of the truth, believe in a higher power. They believe in angels. They believe in these things, which takes a level of a spiritual mind, because you can't see Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, but to believe in that, to believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, to believe that there are angels encompassed around us, to believe that there are demons that hop on people, and Satan, that takes a spiritual mind, but and what does that take? Faith. because the scriptures say that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It takes faith to believe in the unseen, to believe that there are chariots in the sky that are invisible, that we can't see. That takes faith to believe that. It takes faith to believe that when the scriptures say that different, that some of us will receive power. That takes a spiritual mind to believe these certain things, and that's why some of the things that we preach in this truth, people can't receive it because they're being natural. So it says, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. So like I mentioned before, there are certain people who are Israelites that look like they are of a different nation. You got some people who believe in Yahweh Bashim Shai, but they think that, they believe that we are the Israelites, but they think that it's just the Negroes that are Israelites. Or you have to look like a Negro, Latino, or Native American to be an Israelite. That's not a spiritual mind. That's a natural mind. That you have to see someone looking like they're of one of the 12 tribes for you to believe that they are the 12 tribes. No, you got to look. We're in a time where we have been mingled amongst these different nations, and so it takes a spiritual mind to see past just what someone looks like, and to see if they have the spirit of an Israelite, to see if they got that salt, to see if the spirit of if they are one of the children of the Most High. So let's grab Romans chapter 8 verse 5, which says, "For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit." And I'll say even prayer, that takes a spiritual mind, but we have to be, we have to invest in these things for our spiritual eyes to see better, and for us to flee that carnal, fleshly, sensual mind. Because even though we have been given the ability to tap into the Spirit and to see things spiritually, our spiritual vision can get better. But the scriptures say, when we get Galatians chapter 5 verse 16, it says, "This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." There's you can sow to the Spirit or the flesh. If we are caught up in our lustful, sensual nature, if we're feeding into that, then we're sowing to the flesh. And the scriptures say you reap what you sow. If you're sowing to the flesh, if you're following after that fleshly, sensual, sinful nature that is inside of us, that we have to fight against in these bodies, then we're just going to, think fleshly. We're going to live in a carnal, fleshly manner. But if we feed into the Spirit, if we're getting more into these scriptures, if we're praying and building our connection with Yahweh Bashim Shai, then we will be sowing to the Spirit, and more mysteries will be opened up to us. We will be able to gain a higher understanding of this truth and of the different scriptures and breakdowns and things of the sort. So let's go back to Romans chapter 8. We'll go to verse 6. It says, "For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace." So we have to let the Spirit guide us, and when we let the Spirit guide us, it like it says, it leads us unto life. But to be carnally minded, then we're just, for people who can't see the kingdom, who think that this is all life is, that their future is just growing in this captivity. This is all that they can see. This is what they're planning to live in forever. That's because they don't have a spiritual mind. But for us who are focused on the kingdom, for us who can see that paradise, who can see that city that is builded, that's being tapped into the Spirit. But if you just are in the mindset that this is it, that this is where I'm going to be forever, then that leads into what? Death, because you aren't walking as a pilgrim upon this earth. It takes a spiritual mind to walk as a pilgrim upon this earth. It takes a spiritual mind to lose out and sacrifice things in this world for the next. And so it says, because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, For it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be. Right? To be spiritually minded, you're able to see afar off. So you make decisions based off of something greater, something that you can see down the line. You're living for the kingdom. You're setting your treasures up in heaven. If you aren't spiritually minded, if you're just living in a carnal mind, you're putting all your ducks in this basket. You're just living for right now. You got that YOLO mindset, hey, that YOLO mindset is super carnal, super sensual. If you live spiritually, you understand that there is more to come than just what we are experiencing right now. So it leads you to live in a manner that leads unto life, and that's why I said, so then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High, because if you're in the flesh, you ain't worried about putting things off, sacrificing, denying yourself, and being in a fleshly carnal mind. When that chip comes, people who are in that mindset will take that. And that's why we have to build our spiritual minds up and flee from our fleshly carnal sides of ourselves, because it's going to take a spiritual mind to fight to receive the victory once that chip comes. It's going to take a spiritual mind to deny that chip, and to believe that angels will bring us food, that the Lord is going to take care of us, even if we can't see it happening, even if we're in a situation where it don't make sense to do anything else but get the chip in a fleshly, in a carnal sense. But the scriptures tell us that the Lord is going to take care of us, and we got to have faith in that, faith in that unseen help. So Salakia, I hope this lesson is edifying, but that's basically all I wanted to grab. Hey, with that being said, once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahar Harkudash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders of GMS, and a salutation unto the elect. Shalom.